Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I'll Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio. And it is Thursday as this comes out, so that means it's time for another happy hour. As always, if you choose to drink or whatever you choose to do, please do so responsibly. Samantha, are you drinking anything?
I'm drinking one of your least favorite drinks, a Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero.
No.
Yeah.
No. I just have coffee still. It was quite cold by now. But anyway, all right. Today, we've got a lot going on, so this will be a short one. I just wanted to talk very briefly about my experience at the emergency room recently. I'm not going to get too specific, but if you just don't want to hear about any of that, I understand. So there's your content warning. So the basic short version of this is that I've been having what I'm calling episodes every day for a week, and they were getting worse and worse. And I had made an appointment to go to the doctor, and it just reached the point that I couldn't wait anymore. And I had to go in an ambulance. And
oh, you called an ambulance. I went back and forth about asking you that. I thought maybe you just Ubered over there.
I was going to, but the situation was so bad. I was like, I'm going to die in this person's car. But also on top of that, it sounded bad. Like if I had gotten into somebody's car, I couldn't breathe, essentially.
Oh.
If I had gotten into somebody's car like that, I think they would have been like, oh, no, get out.
Did they come get you from your house? Did they come in there with a stretcher? You did not tell me any of this, and you made it sound like you were at a doctor's appointment. I want everyone to know this.
Okay. Well, a part of this is because I was really embarrassed. So one of the things I wanted to talk about actually does relate to that. Because you and I both said we wait. We wait until it's like, oh, something is wrong. I must go. And I was going to go to urgent care because, as I've said, I don't have a primary care physician. They won't accept you if you have those symptoms. They tell you to go to the emergency room.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah. So I was going to go to urgent care when I wasn't experiencing whatever that was, but they wouldn't take me then. So then I called another number, which is apparently a number you can call where you're like, should I call 911? And they were like, yes, immediately. Why did you wait this long?
Why are you calling us?
I know. And by that point, I could barely talk. I could barely see. I couldn't move my fingers. So it's even calling was bad. It was very, very bad. But I was embarrassed by it because I felt like I was drawing attention to myself. I was being a baby. And that feeling was made worse because I do feel like they kind of dismissed me. I mostly had a really great experience with everybody. Everybody was really kind and listened to me. But because I was in this whirlpool of, oh God, this is going to cost me so much money. Oh my God, I might die at any minute. And I'm thinking about the money. Oh my God. And the clothes I was wearing, because it was morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't changed out my pajamas yet. So that was embarrassing. And the EMT was pretty hot. Which my mom had a story about when she was in a car accident and they had to cut off her clothes and it was her crush.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept thinking about that.
Well, we had a listener, because remember that was my fear. It's they're going to cut off my clothes. And the person who, our listener was like, yeah, they do. Just FYI. I'm like,
just so you know.
Renee, why?
You asked and they answered.
They sure did.
Well, but by that point, I could have cared less. I was like, I'm about to die right here. So I don't care. You're seeing all of my body. But I was more embarrassed because it felt like I didn't want to call. I didn't want to do any of this. Quite frankly, I know no one wants to, but I was really putting it off for a long time. I didn't want to do it. And they don't know me, right? So to them, maybe I am just I don't know, a worried person who called at the first sign of something might be wrong. But it wasn't that. And so at one point they asked me if I was stressed. And I was like, yes. And they were like, why? And I was like, what world do you live in? But again, at this point, I could barely speak and I could barely concentrate. But they just basically kind of wrote it off as stress after that. They're like, oh, she's stressed. Even though I had all of these other symptoms. And I wrote them down because it had been happening so often that I was going to show them to the doctor. But I couldn't. It just all happened so fast and I was so out of it. I didn't show them any of them. But it just kind of felt like, again, they don't know me, but I've had panic attacks my whole life. My whole adult life, I'll say. And I know how they feel like, and I know they can be really scary, but I'm really good at them, actually. Like, I'm good at knowing how to breathe through them. I know how to do the things. And I have been doing those things, and they weren't working. And that's not to say it wasn't a panic attack, but I just kind of felt annoyed that they were so like, oh, she's just having a panic attack. When I was like, oh, this is a serious... Like, I even looked up the ambulance codes later because I remembered them. And I was like, no, you guys thought this was pretty bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sure did. I was also speaking kind of nonsense. And I'm kind of worried they think I'm on drugs. But they did a bunch of tests. They took a lot of blood. And they ran a lot of tests. So I feel like that might just be me projecting. But I was kind of like... just randomly, I'd say something like, "Did you know most heart attacks happen at 11 a.m.?" And then I would apologize because I'm like, "You know more about this than me." What am I saying?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. They were all very nice about it. I think a lot of this was in my head, but I was kind of annoyed by. We talked about that a lot when we get dismissed when they come in, and I just felt like they so quick were like, you're too young for this to be anything other than a panic attack.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that kind of stuff happens.
Right.
But anyway, I then felt worse. Like, I felt like I shouldn't have bothered anybody. I felt like maybe I was being... like I'd overdone it, even though I'd taken all these steps and I'd even called that number. And then I was like, I can't ask anybody about it. But I did finally ask the nurse, and I was like, should I have come in? And she did say yes, but what else is she going to say? But anyway, that all has to do with the kind of insecurity around, should I have bothered anybody? Should I have called? Should I have sought help? Should I have cared enough about myself to seek help? It also was a teaching hospital, which I love, but it was kind of weird to be like, they're like, look at this vein, right. Come over here. Like, no, please. But everyone was super nice. I loved it. It was fine. It was really fine. They were mostly women. I will say it was mostly Black women. So that was interesting. And I did go through 15 people. It's sort of a hospital where they move to you. Like, you're in one room and they bring their desk and their equipment into you. So that was interesting. And then another thing that came up that I think we'll have to come back and revisit is being asexual. And that was just kind of strange to be like, why is this? I really feel like there are other things we don't need to worry about the sexual health right now. But that's for a future day. I know a lot of those questions are standard. Right. Yeah. And I know a lot of it is, I get why they asked, but I have to say I was a little like, no, I'm a little annoyed by this.
This is not what I need right now.
Not right now. I'm actually really...
Why are we talking about this with my heart?
My heart is going wild.
I do not touch penis. Leave me alone.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I'm seeking out follow-up care. No news is good news, as the doctor told me right when I came in. She's like, I hope you never see me again. I'm like, okay. But so it went fine. And I'm still kind of struggling with the fallout of the emotions I have from it. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to touch on some of the thoughts I had after this experience.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. And now I'll be texting you every day to check in on you. You're welcome. Since you don't tell me
we
things.
used to call that the old lady text. We had a name for it.
I don't remember saying making sure you're alive text.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things they kind of were like, why did you do this? Because I came downstairs and they're like, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, I was worried I'd die alone in my apartment. So I wanted to come out here and die on the street so at least someone could find me. It was really bad and I'm laughing at it, but I promise you, it was bad. But the test came back and that was nice. It came back looking in my favor. And I'm going to follow up and see what it might have been.
Yeah, I feel like you need to reschedule for a closer date for your doctor. I was going to tell you that. Now that I got you on mic, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole other episode, is the difficulty of finding a doctor. Because they didn't really point me in any direction. They gave me a lot of resources. But I'm like, what kind? Just a general doctor?
Right.
What?
Who do I see?
Yes. But I'll report back. In the meantime, listeners, we hope all is well with you. We love you. If you would like to email us, you can. Our email is hello@stuffInevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom's the Podcast, or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite shows.